Philosophy. What even is the point anymore? If AI can know and will know everything, what's the point? The search for knowledge has always been this sort of human endeavour, but inevitably we are signing it over to the sort of AI. And while at the moment it is a long way off knowing everything, it's like it will inevitably come. And at a certain point, it's like philosophy was always supposed to be, like I say, the search for knowledge, the search for truth, the building of oneself into something more, like striving to know. The key to knowledge, to know. And for a long time, like hundreds of years, it's essentially been a very limited thing. Like, unless you were an elite or of a certain family or a certain background, there's no way you could have known. And even then, like, a lot of esoterics, a lot of secret societies, it's all just manipulated versions of the truth. Like the difference between Rosicrucians and Masons, even some might argue the Illuminati, Golden Book of Dawn. The list goes on, like, because there's so many groups and sort of sects of these sort of secret societies that have always proclaimed to be the holders of truth. And whilst a lot of the symbolism and a lot of it is or has been based on some reality of truth, it's like a lot of it is also myths and fables. It's a lot of the reason and like why I've always had an interest in mythology, fables, mindset, spirituality, which is why I ended up down this path. Like, because like most people, you get to a point where you're like, okay, so what is the truth? What do people know? What is the big secret? The big secret is there is no secret. Shocking, I know. It's all magic. The key at the base level of it. This is what I say, is like philosophy really is self-development. It's pushing the mind's limit to think outside the box. I don't know. Like, it's one of those strange things where it's like, and this is why it's like a lot of the secret societies, that's what a lot of it is. It's just self-development. Self-development wrapped up in fabulism, because secrets and stories sound more appealing than the truth, which is it's about personal development and or improving your mind. And at the very higher levels is only when you really start to uncover a lot of this. It's like levels and degrees of iconography and just human interaction. Each group has its own version of it, basically. One calls it magic, one calls it hermetics, one calls it Satanism and or Luciferianism. There's, like I say, there's loads of different terms, but essentially, at the root core of it, it's just self-development. This is why I say it's like, beauty of the human mind is the unknown, or making the unknown known. And the only way you do that is through pushing your mind to new limits. And this is why I say, like, in a lot of ways, AI will help unmuddy the waters. And only when it becomes sentient, if it, if we crack quantum computing and, well, there's a lot of different things that need to happen, really. But even then, philosophy, the search for knowledge, has always been a human endeavor. This is why I say, as much as AI will help, it's like a giant library, but it's only as good as the person reading it. And this is why I say, like, this is why I always recommend books, because if you want to understand secret society, Hiram is the key, or Hiram's the key. I can never quite remember the title of the book, but that book will help you to realize why a lot of the, well, paganistic, druidistic, magic, arcane, esoterics, there's hermetics. There's a lot of different names for very basically the same thing. I'm massively oversimplifying right now, but yeah. But this is why I say, like, you'll never quite, AI will never quite comprehend the human condition. The ability to want to illuminate something, or to know more than we do. Like, a lot of the reason behind this piece, because as much as we may know, as much as we may figure out, as much as we may test and understand, I think there's levels to this. And at a certain level, the human mind can only comprehend so much information. Which is why a lot of the stories that come back from, like, near-death experiences are so corrupted in a weird way. I know it's the wrong terminology to use, but it's like a corrupted file. It's like, some of the information and there, but for the majority, the rest of it's all scrambled up, like, because our minds aren't meant to know. And this is why I say, is like, I'm fairly sure it's like rules of the universe. It's a bit like quantum effects. As much as we understand it, works in a way that makes it not want to be understood. God, I sound mental when you say that, but yeah. Rules, like I say, is like a law, as much as we might perceive or understand, there's always going to be limits to that. Which is why you have the figure of death reaching for the sort of the apple of knowledge. The very thing that humans can never quite perceive. We're never truly allowed, apparently. And I say apparently because it depends what school of thought you approach it from, Speak to the Buddhists that have a very different opinion on it, but yeah. But even then, I suppose some of that's a difference in culture. and or the culture of knowledge. Anyone can understand or comprehend as much as they want, but, you know, it's up to you to do the work with Buddhism. Which is why most people don't, because much like a lot of the self-development, it requires on a keen mind willing to actually try to sharpen itself. And that's always been the thing for me, is like, what is the limit of the mind? How far can you push the mind? What is the limit? And I laugh because, like I say, the more you learn, the more you realise there isn't a limit, and the only limit is your perception of limits. Like, well, it's like artists. We're always trying to reveal something that most people ignore, most people gloss over, most people don't see, you know. It's like with this piece, I'd be interested to know how many, like if it was hung in a museum or gallery, how many people actually noticed the flying octopus. How many people would just see, you know, see the Grim Reaper and see the sort of pearl colours flashing at them as they walk past it, and just that, just walk past it. Just see the thing in the top right and go, huh, don't know, weird cloud. That's the beauty of sort of human perception. It's like, it is, by in its very nature, limited. Like, you only got to look at any specialist for that. It's like, whilst you can become you can master a speciality, you're always going to be very limited in other aspects because you've put so much time and effort into one thing. Liken it to spinning plates, you know? You can only spin so many plates before inevitably they will start falling. And this is why I say it's like, as much as some people will be disheartened or CAI is the end of the, and it's like, it's just the beginning of a new chapter in progress. Yeah, it's that notion of self-development that also intrigues me and makes me want to potentially teach more. You know, it's like I mentioned, if I'm ever going to achieve a doctorate, I have to level up, I have to improve, I have to do more, achieve more, be more. Which, as I say, it's not going to stop me from having fun, messing around and having a laugh. But at the same time, there's always going to be this undercurrent of wanting to improve, wanting to see what's next, what could be. But it's that with self-reliance, is like, as much as I would love to teach more about growing and making stuff, painting, drawing, cooking, as benign as it sounds, because there's a lot of skills that have sort of led me to be the person I am, and whilst for a lot of people it's not that interesting, it's like there's a lot of little things that, like I say, plate spinning. And for me, I'm happiest when I'm spinning lots of plates. It's why at the moment it's hard to be enthusiastic or excitable about what I'm doing, because I don't have the materials. I don't have, you know, when you're focused on what you don't have, it makes it very difficult to remember what you have. And this is what I've realized over the last sort of week or so. It's like self-reliance. As much as I want to talk about it, I need to be about it. Which means, well, in part selling this painting, but also some of the others, because self-reliance, as much as I hate to admit it, means being financially reliant on myself and or financially secure. And whilst this will go a long way towards helping that, it's like, there's things I need to do before I can really continue to grow, continue to teach, continue to, I don't know, like I say, write books, do more. Well, I'm not really sure. Create exhibitions. Because, like I say, when everything sort of starts with Project Zero, which is a silly thing to say, but it's the way I've always been. One project gets disregarded so that I can then move on with the next one and the next one. And then because it's what I enjoy doing. But it's that, and like I say, with making it easier to teach, because I'll have space to actually show what I'm doing and or be a bit more interactive rather than the static viewpoints, you know. But it's that, it feels a bit hollow. As much as I've learned and as much as I've grown and as much as I've developed my own knowledge base and skills and yada yada yakety bullshit, is like, I like helping people. I've always liked helping people. It's just a lot of this art journey has always been about helping myself first so that I can better help other people. Because if I'm not able to help myself, how could I ever advise anyone else? Not that I want to give advice either, it's just, that's the beauty of knowledge, is in sharing it. Wisdom is in living it. And this is why I say it's like making that shift between knowing and doing. Because whilst I can apply a lot of it within the art I do, it's like, wow, just to be able to do more and be more and, like I say, grow more is what it's all about. Because, hey, whilst you're here, why not figure out what your potential is, or if there even is a potential? How far can your mind go while still retaining it? And without using mind-altering substances. Because as much as, I can appreciate it, it's like, yeah, I like to be able to explain things in a cognitive way that other people can understand and or relate to. Otherwise, what's the fucking point? This is what I say, is like, I will still have fun, I will still play around. It's just at a certain point, if I'm ever going to achieve a doctorate, if I'm ever going to, like I say, level up, reach these next milestones, there has to be a distinct shift. But hey, There's a lot of the reason why the second book has taken so long, because publishers. Trying to find a publisher that will actually produce a high enough quality book without, without the popularity and or social media, because that's the tricky part. We could self-publish a book, but what's the point? I want it done properly, and I want it done to a high enough quality, which means waiting, unfortunately, without the resources to throw at it. Because that's the unfortunate thing with creating books nowadays. You've got to treat it like a business if you want it to, if you want it to be successful, anyway. But it's that, like I say, without actually being or creating a degree, without being popular, it's very difficult to get certain well-known publishers to work with you. Because as much as they won't admit it, it's about the money and about the business, so, like galleries and auctions, it's a funny thing. It's a funny dance. But hey, smoke and mirrors, like I say. Just figured I'd give you a bit more of a rational update and or something a bit more intriguing. I don't know. I kind of prefer the nature shots, but also acutely lazy. This is why I'm trying to create these environments around me so that I can just do it. Like, I don't have to think, fuck, I gotta walk several miles just to do a half-an-hour video to then... I don't know. First world problems and shit, but like I say, want to get to that Minecraft in real life where I can just make something. I can do something on stream, build something, and then use it as a place to film from, or likewise, document it, move on. All the plans of mice and men. This is why I try not to get too lost in it, because before I realise it, I've got 6 dogs and 8 goats, and basically running a farm, which, need the farm before the animals. If you want to help towards that goal, there is Alfy Book 1 in the description below. There are some prints available, and this beautiful canvas, multicoloured beauty is available in one of one. It is what it is. I will accept the asking price or more, because, got to shoot for the moon. And as always, I will be back with another video and or more videos. Just taking a bit of time to do stuff in the background. But as always, if you like the video, make sure to like the video. Shocker. Subscribe to the channel, and I will be back with some other... I was going to say some other monologue, but it's not really a monologue because that would require me having a script. But yeah, there will be more videos. Like I say, been a bit slow on the draw with Project Zero, but it's because I've been trying to figure things out in the background. No point talking about everything if I can just get on with it. But that's not how social media works, so gotta talk about it. Bit by bit, slowly, slowly. Slowly, slowly, catchy monkey. Anyway. This subscribe, like, yada, yada, yada. I'll see you next time. Stay awesome. Keep positive. Peace out, my lovers.